ActiveMember360 login settings. We're going to talk about what you can do for logging in members. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, I want to mention that we have a free masterclass that goes into the details of how to create a membership site so you can start selling your online courses in an afternoon. Just go to integratepro.co/YT video. Inside your WordPress membership site with ActiveMember360 installed, you want to go to ActiveMember360, plugin options. And the first one is login settings. So there's a number of different things you can do in here. For instance, you can always require a login. I do not recommend that. Basically, your site is unseeable to the outside world. You might want to have that so that you can show at least what's inside there. So you can toggle that on and off if you want. You can or cannot have a tag that bans somebody from the site completely. It's kind of an easy way to override all your other permissions by just having a tag that basically blackmails somebody, or blackmails, yeah, that's probably the right word, so that no matter what, they can't get into there. If you've got a bad customer, you've got a person that's trolling you, that's something you might want to consider. The next option is, do you want to allow login without a membership? So in other words, can they get in with or without that? Now, it depends on what you're offering. In my opinion, if you have a free course, you might not even require purchase, obviously, but a tag. But if you can allow them to log in without a membership tag, they can get in there without having access. The only thing about that is that contact may or may not be in your ActiveMember or ActiveCampaign account. And maybe you want to have that there. So that's something to think about. I usually just leave the default. And here's a last login custom field. Now, this is useful if you want to track when your client was last in there. Now, what you can do with something like this is set up an automation in ActiveCampaign that looks at the person's last login, and if after a certain number of days they haven't logged in, you can send them a reminder email. This is especially useful if you've got content that's dripped out over time and you want to make sure somebody's consuming it. You can easily set up a reminder automation based on that date custom field, the last login inside ActiveCampaign. And then down below, there's the next two are automation to run on login, automation to run on log out. So every time somebody logs in or logs out, you can run an automation. And that, again, that's one of those things that might be useful. You can update a score of some sort. You could send a zap to a Google Sheet, do whatever. It's basically a way of keeping track of usage in your membership site. Last one, we typically do use this. For instance, if somebody is signed up for the very first time they're logging in, you might send them to a page, a welcome page, or a page that explains exactly what they're getting, what to do, next steps, that type of stuff. The great thing is you can override that with some content in your links that prevent that. But that's the login settings for ActiveMember360. And not a bad idea to also leave notes behind, like the date, your name, and what you did if you made a change. But as you can tell, this is the default settings for ActiveMember360 login settings, and I'm not going to make any changes from there. So that's the ActiveMember360 login settings. Go to integratepro.co/YT video to get the details on how to create a membership site and start selling your online courses in an afternoon.